This is a BC-342N 40s Army receiver. I picked this up at the Hamfest meet. It's made by Farnsworth TV and Radio. And it's pretty much all original. It's had a lot of work done on it. Obviously, I've got it apart over the years, but it's got mostly all the original capacitors in it. They're all the oil-filled type. This is the oscillator section over here, and then these are your front end. And I have the oscillator compartment opened up because I had to spray these band switches. There's the band switch, silver contacts with ceramic. Super high quality. It's got a lot of these mica caps that I don't like, the domino style. They do go bad, and it probably needs to be recapped, but it works. Found this inside. This is pretty interesting. I guess Kilroy was something in World War II that we kind of painted all over the place, our soldiers. It's got an Ohio thing there. It's got a penciled in date down here of 1944. This came optional with the dynamotor. This is the 110 volt version of this. It's very heavy. It's about I think it's 61.5 pounds. Everything is very clearly labeled. It's obviously was mistreated or something because it's rusty. First RF, second RF, first detector, and then the IF and second detector are up there. It's got a lot of these type of capacitors here. There's 3 capacitors in each section there. Each one of these boxes, you can see right there the shaft. That's the band switch, runs down through the center here, and there's band switches in each one of these, so there's a total of 4 band switches. Doesn't work very well. It's a little kind of a lack of sensitivity. I'm going to test the tubes and maybe play with the alignment a little bit. The manual is extremely thorough. It's like 150 pages, and it comes with just about every bit of information you could ever want. It's even got a thing in here how to read the capacitors, read the values. So I'm going to put this shield back on the oscillator compartment and play with it. So I'm doing a quick alignment on this thing, and basically you got 6 bands, and these are the frequencies they want you to align it on. I've already done the first 3, so 11 megahertz is my next alignment frequency. So real simple, I got my signal generator here fed into the input. I'm going to go up to the next band, and I'm going to put this on 11 megahertz. Wow, which is right at the top. Just center it out there. Then I'm going to bring this into 11 megahertz. Let's see. Turn the power up a little. We're pretty close. I'm going to bring this up to 11. Okay. And then we got our trimmers here. These are our oscillator trimmers. These are our first RF, second RF, and first detector. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is A, B, C, and they all follow across. So the first thing to do is bring this in. So we want to adjust this to get it to match the dial. These are very touchy adjustments. Then all we do is just go down the line here and peak everything. That's it. And then I'll just do the other two bands and I'm done. So I had this aligned and working pretty well. And then late last night, after running it for about 5 or 6 hours, I started to hear some popping noises and then like arcing that came and went away. And then I turned it off and turned it back on, and the B plus was dead shorted, and the choke started to smell, and the rectifier was red plating. So I took the power supply apart, which is this right here, suspecting the electrolytic, which wasn't the case. It actually tests fine. See, it's got a date on it there. I'll get this upside down. '52, I guess it was replaced. So I've been tracing these wires in here, and the B plus comes out of here into the switch on the front, and then it goes to this capacitor right here where you see my clip lead attached, and that's where it branches out to all the different points. And you can see it's essentially just 0 ohms. So what I'm going to do is there are two ways to do this. I could apply like a high current 12 volts there and see what starts to get hot, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull all those wires off there and try and isolate it down, because it could just be like carbon tracking or something. So it turns out this capacitor here is dead shorted. I got everything disconnected from it, and it is C80, but 79 and 78, they're all shorted, 0 ohms. So I gotta check and see what these are. I find it hard to believe that's one of those PCB filled oil capacitors. It's not something you disassemble, it's hermetically sealed. And I'm surprised. I didn't think those things actually... Oh, here's the 4 microfarad right here. This is the one that's the filter off the cathode of the audio output. Wonder if that's shorted. Well, there's some crappy solder joints in here. Look at that. So here's my fix here, and I do realize that this radio needs to be completely recapped from the ground up, but the form factor of these old oil caps is such that it's very difficult to recap these old military radios. So what I did in this case is I just tacked in a 3-part terminal strip, and the center is, you can't really see it down here, but the center is bolted. I bolted it to that screw, and so that's ground. And then I put 3 of the B+ leads on this side and 3 on this side, and then I just looped the capacitor wire through so that the 2 outsides are connected together. So it's B+ ground, B+, and that's a 0.1 at 600 volt spray orange drop. I disconnected this. This is a 3-part oil cap, 0.1, 0.1, and 0.1. This was a B+ filter. These 2 are just filament. So this is 6.3 and 6.3, and of course the case is ground. So I don't expect those will short. I think what I might do is I have a hole here that says, let me see, where am I? I'm over a little bit too far. I have a hole here that says spare. I might put a fuse in there for the B+ and fuse it at 200 milliamps or 300 milliamps. So if this ever happens again, it doesn't smoke the transformer or the choke. I got the power supply back together, and we'll give it a try.
With the drought, this storm that's taking place today, yesterday, I was watching, and they said how extraordinarily bizarre it was that we had, quote-unquote, the warm weather, warm water toward hurricane structure coming into, mixing with a northeaster, which of course is blizzard.
Working again, and I found one reason why the rectifier tube was red plating and the thing smoked. Someone had put a 10 amp fuse in here, so the thing was drawing about 750 milliamps, so I put an amp and a quarter fuse in there, and I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it absolutely destroyed the rectifier tube. And also, this thing has a 6,000 ohm impedance output transformer, which is right there. So you really need to use an audio output transformer, just a regular one, to couple it to the speaker, or replace this audio output transformer, because this is designed to drive headphones, not a speaker directly. So we'll run it for a while longer and see how it does.
To power, for a while anyway, my 10-meter transceiver, the HX10, which is a Radio Shack ring, which, believe it or not, is a fantastic little radio. All moved 10 meters, 10 watts on AM, 25 watts on upper and lower sideband, and about 20 watts on FM. The entire
10-meter band. And I can, of course, also put that thing in the car. If worse comes to worse, I can pull out into the driveway with my 10-meter mobile rig and be on the air that way. Also, I have, of course, 2 meters. And,
this would be 40-meter sideband, and I'm using the CW oscillator to decode it.
Back to you there, DJ. G6RCL. And the British sideband roundtable WA6HDY, Royal Branding. Okay, you were close, I hope I didn't get them off. You were close. A lot more, but that's what they're already estimating from this storm. And they can live it out here on the edge of winter. And you remember we talked about, with the drought this last summer, how massive weather events can bring about this kind of economic damage. By the way, our new book, A Great Space Month, we have a whole chapter called The Mandate of Heaven. Not exactly that. How the 20th century brought some of the balmiest, nicest weather in 1,000 years to North America. And that's what tempted farmers, encouraged by the government.
So this thing basically goes from
holding down the Great Plains, and suddenly in the 1930s, a dust bowl.
1.5 megahertz up to 18 megahertz. I'm on shortwave right now. So it just does the very top of the AM broadcast band, and I'd like to modify this bottom. I'd love to modify this to do the full broadcast band. We can
Okay, here's the thing. I'm giving out moist jerky and protein shakes. Be honest, that sounds delicious, does it not?
수정하게 됐습니다. 내셔널 리그는요, 보수는 열대어 몰리나 집안의 막내죠.
단 4일간만 세일합니다. 지정일기 누인 명품 주방의사들이 정리합니다. 12피
프로야구 소식은 어떻습니까? 오늘 New York and Philadelphia and Boston would freeze shut during the winter. That was just normal. We don't think of it as normal from the 20th century, but in fact we're going back to that kind of normal.
So one thing I would say about this is this receiver has had a ton of use on it, and it needs a complete total recap and a complete going through of all the resistors. Most of them are over 200% out of value. 100K resistor will be like 400 to 500K. 1K resistor will be like 5K. So it's amazing that it works. Probably the only reason it works is because everything is so evenly whacked out, and it has a lot of alignment potential, so there's a lot of room to adjust. But yeah, this is a really neat receiver. Absolutely no plastic in this at all. Everything is metal.
Very exciting, in addition to finding many pages of ways they can protect themselves and their family. The book is called The Great Debasement, just out this week. My brilliant mentor Craig Smith and I wrote it. The subtitle is 100-Year Guide.
This here you can either use manual. When you put it in MVC mode, basically what that does is that makes the volume control like a gain control. And of course AVC is the typical automatic volume, AGC type. I still don't know what goes here. I still got to figure that out. Those wires don't appear to do anything. But yeah, it works amazingly well for what it is. These 3 boxes here.
We'll pay everything. 800. By the way, this is a great Christmas gift. If you have family members.
Those 3 boxes, there's 3 capacitors in each one, and you can see the solder points on top where they filled them with oil. So that's 9 capacitors right there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be covering that again coming up later in the transmission. But here is the report. We'll put it up on screen. I've got it here on my screen. For PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, if you're a radio listener, go to PrisonPlanet.com or Infowars.com to read it and see the photos and everything. Shameless looters display stolen goods on Twitter. I'm sure the media will come out and say this isn't real either. And there's not fires in New Jersey close to a nuclear reactor either. Of course there is, but it doesn't matter. We cover it, it doesn't exist. Sandy Loot Crews, they call themselves, plans more heists and violence overnight. There are groups planning more in Coney Island, in New York City proper, in Brooklyn, but also areas of Maryland, areas of New Jersey, Trenton. And it goes on. Looters who are taking advantage of the devastation caused by Hurricane Sandy are posting photographs of their stolen goods on Twitter and bragging about how they plan to carry out more thefts and violence. Shocking images posted to the social network website depict individuals who appear to be working together, posting about how they have stolen laptops, TVs, and other electronics from both stores and private homes that fell victim to the hurricane. Check out this laptop I scored. And it goes over it. Picture of my swiping that TV. I mean, just amazing. And again, it's a gangster culture that's been sold, where they break up families, put kids in prison for no reason, and then all they know is criminality when they come out. The whole MTV culture promotes it, gangsterism. It's widespread. It's so sick. And these people feel like it's going on. It is All Hallows, Samhain, Samhain, Devil's Night. And it is certainly Devil's Night in different parts of the United States last night and tonight here on Halloween. Here is the story breaking first at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. All over Twitter, Facebook, and other systems, looters are organizing East Coast raids and robberies